Just
I
would just
yeah.
I would every time I'm sure.
They have jobs. So the house
No, you can.
still have your hands to side, but.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get us called to order here. We're just running a minute behind, so I'll call us to order, Emily, at 5:03. I am here, Renee. Yes. Emily. Yes. April.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Kyle.
Here.
Marcus.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
All right, and Jada is not with us this evening. All right, hopefully board members have had a chance to look over tonight's agenda. If there are no changes, can I get a motion to approve? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, our agenda is approved. We are on. Do we have any persons requesting an audience with the board tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, but we're videotaping your meeting, so if you can pull up the podium so the
I'll do
camera
that.
can catch it.
All right, and just before you get started, I'll just let you know our public comment section is a 3-minute thing. The board does not engage in discussion during that time, so that sometimes feels a little awkward, but those are our rules, so we're going to follow them. So
Yeah.
please
So,
go ahead when you're ready.
all right, so I'm Tamara Johnson. I'm here on behalf of myself, not an organization or the Frederic School District. I'm here to share my comments regarding potential proposed changes to our student dress code. I don't think we should include midriffs as a private part alongside nipples, genitals, and buttocks in our school dress code. Requiring students to cover their midriffs will disproportionately affect girls and students living in poverty. This is in direct conflict with our policy, which states dress code enforcement will not create disparities, nor will it be more strictly enforced against students because of their legally protected status or classification, household income, body size, type, or body maturity. So, for example, I had a student come to school in a shirt that was too small and it showed their belly button. This student wasn't very self-aware and doesn't pick up on social norms. They did not put on the shirt to seek attention or to disrupt learning. They put it on because it was what was in their clothes hamper. This student lives in a limited income household, and their grown-up had not removed the clothing from their pile, the clothing that they had outgrown. Under the proposed revisions, this student would be violating the school policy. A meta-analysis of 800 studies published by the National Institute of Health has found no association between school uniforms, different than school dress code, but school uniforms, and academic achievement. If this is what the current evidence indicates, then we aren't doing right by our students by adding midriffs, skull caps, hoods, bags to the list of things that don't belong in the classroom. I think we should create policy that builds community and improves student learning outcomes. That said, I was happy to see that profanity was added to the list of items that students should not be wearing. It's not something that can be said in our school. I don't think it's something that we should be wearing. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yep.
On to the consent agenda. Just 1 second here. So first of all, within the consent agenda, there are minutes to review from previous meetings. There is one correction that we'll request in the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting minutes. Those reflect that Renee Onis attended that meeting, but it was actually Emily Carl. So when we get to approval, I would like to, I've already messaged Jessica. Renee pointed out the the change. I messaged Jessica so we can get that updated. So if we approve those minutes, we would approve them with that change already suggested. Correction, suggested. So that's just a note about those minutes. Kyle, are there things that you'd like to point out regarding invoices and receipts?
Yeah, under expenses, check 28,517 for Wayne Corporation for $12,653. That's for the new risers at the elementary school, and that's being paid for from Fund 46, so building maintenance, plus some of the funds from the 3 fundraising accounts that the music department has. It's a combination purchase between those 4. The Unity School District payment at check 28,533. That is for the early childhood program that we get at 6603. It's only $2,458. This is the cheapest way of doing that. And then the CWS Security Watch, that's the extra fobs and security cameras going in both buildings for $29,829.65. And that is the Stronger Connections grant will reimburse that money for those expenses. You see a larger one for Luck School District at 28566. That's $9,675. That's for the baseball and golf co-ops. And Webster School District, we're saying a check for $900, but that's a combination of 3 different track meets. And I think that's it. Anyone got any questions on the expenses? I think it's pretty normal. I'll cover some more of the budget when we get to the finance committee.
No questions? Did you have anything on receipts?
Nothing exciting. No,
Nothing
there's
exciting.
nothing.
No exciting receipts.
Nothing unusual or no. It's pretty.
All right.
As it's saying, the receipts can get.
Yeah. Yeah. So as Kyle mentioned, there's budget information and cash flow statements for board members to look at. We will talk some more about budget updates when we get to committee review, because the finance committee did meet, so we'll talk about that there. And then we have our contracts and hiring. You can see there's a long list of all of the different coaching contracts. I won't read those all. Coaches through the fall season. Fall, winter.
It's all the coaches he has for the 25-26 at this point. I think there's only a couple he's missing. And as far as teaching staff, as of today, we're fully staffed.
Congratulations.
It's July, so we'll watch what happens in August. But yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
no, we're just gonna pause on
That's
July
right.
and we're
Okay,
gonna
all
celebrate right now.
We're good today. Today we're good.
Good work. Do you want to comment at all about the special education teacher or the elementary assistant?
Jada handled the hiring of
Okay.
the special ed teachers on that too, Eric?
No,
No, Jada did that, and Beth Proctor is our candidate, and we're pretty excited about that. And then the other one was elementary secretary.
Yep.
Aaron led that with Kelly Scow, correct? Yeah.
we had highly qualified applicants this year, which was wonderful.
Nice.
So, yeah, I truly am excited about that.
Excellent.
30 plus candidates.
There
right?
was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Excellent.
All right.
So that's it. I mean, having 30 candidates is exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. All right. So if I can get a motion to approve the consent agenda, and I will, because my husband Rob is the volleyball coach, his contract is part of this approval, so I'm going to abstain from this vote. So if I can get a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Oh, second. April, right? Did I get that right? When I'm not looking, I have to hear the voices. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And one abstain. All right, on to administrative reports. Kyle, do you want to talk first?
Sure. Joe Drexler and I met with the superintendent and athletic director from Luck they thought it made sense that the same school that managed baseball and managed softball, because those go hand in hand, and since we have the track and more golfers, it'd be more sense for us to do that. Today, the baseball coach came in with Carl, and we're gonna split the season in half, and Frederic half over at Luck to split the games, but our baseball diamond, a low estimate, just ballpark figure, no pun intended, was about $55,000 or $60,000 worth of up improvements to the field because we haven't played high school ball in quite a while. So I said, well, that doesn't seem, we're not gonna get done by spring, and we don't have that kind of money for that, so we're gonna recommend that baseball stays over at Luck, but then softball stays at Frederic, so we'll have another discussion with them. The really good news is our SF insurance broker, going with the same Anthem health insurance, our premiums will go up 4.9%, which is fantastic to stay single digits, let alone 4.9%. Dental would go up 5%, and the vision, which is voluntary, will see no increase. So that's really good. We're also looking to add ambulance coverage on a volunteer basis, like our vision, so if someone would like that to add to their policy, they could on their own, because in the last year we've had a couple of incidences where staff members or their people covered under their plan have had high cost experiences with ambulance services because of geographically where we live and stuff. So that's going to be an option for our staff for this year. So that's a couple really good things. Yeah. And then the district rummage sale will be July 31st and August 1st.
Put it on the calendar.
31st, yeah, come get your good chairs and tables that you really want. And I don't know exact times Carl's gonna have it, but the first, he's gonna have it a little later in the afternoon for people at work and stuff, so it's gonna happen the end of the month, so please come buy some chairs and other good stuff.
All right. Any questions for Kyle? All right, great. Erin, do you wanna go ahead?
Yeah, so we have purchased and made the switch to Ames Web Plus, which is our universal screener that is replacing FastBridge. Kelly Fisher and I are going to onboard the staff that have not used Ames Web. 4K to 3rd grade is required to use Ames Web reading screener by the state. That's part of Act 20, the reading law. So Kelly Fisher and I trained that staff in last winter. We are going to train the remaining staff, 4K to 8th grade, in reading and math, implementing the screener. And then Ames Web is going to come in during August in service and show us how to use the intervention and progress monitoring tools, which we have not used yet. So that will fully replace everything that FastBridge gave us with a few bonuses. So at a savings of about 10 grand. So that's nice. Happy bonus there. So that is all organized and in place, and we're moving forward on that avenue. I had brought that up at the last board meeting, so we're on a roll. I'm working on, just to be aware, a curriculum review cycle, because those of you who were here when we passed that first big referendum, we had updated very old curriculum in every subject area all at the same time and bought 5 or 6 year packages. Well, that means that every subject area is going to be expiring at the exact same time, and we can't possibly afford to renew everything at the exact same time. So trying to mindfully look forward to creating a plan for that. Our reading and math curriculums have consumables, so for the last 5 years we haven't had to purchase consumables because they came with our 5-year package, right? Now we're going to get into we're going to have to literally write a check for those now instead of just getting them in the mail. So that is a plan. I brought up to Mr. Lippke that I will get on paper and we can start planning ahead for those things, because that would be our core subjects, ELA, math, science, and social studies. There, anything else? Yeah. Is it pretty good?
Organized. I mean, it's too bad they're all in one cycle and the budget doesn't. it doesn't bode well for budget, we'll figure it out, we'll get it.
We just have to do it in phases, and there's things that, we've certainly learned over time, what's essential and what's not, right? And what resources, trying to work smarter, not harder, right? There's certainly far more resources now that do not involve consumables, and we want to make sure that our intervention practices are using material, resources that aren't an annual subscription or an annual consumable. We're trying to find those high fidelity pieces that are just a one-time purchase. That we're really trying to hone in on that, because you really can go deep in the weeds with costs when you start getting all these licenses, and especially when they're per head. So anyway, that is being thoroughly dug through.
Pardon me, just taking some notes. Okay, did I catch up? Okay, thank you. Any questions for Erin about those things? All right, Marcus, welcome. Your first admin report.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yay!
Okay, so this is the first time I'll share, but Ms. Sadi and some teachers, my first task was to rewrite and update the student handbook. So that was a big task that we accomplished at the end of June and beginning of July. I surveyed teachers to see some things that they wanted in the handbook, and then had a lot of the work done with Ms. Sadi and myself. And then I had about 6 teachers come in to go through discipline and through a lot of the book and updated it. And then also Mr. Licky was involved there. So I think overall the process went pretty well, and I feel like everyone had a chance to have input on it. The athletic director, Mr. Draxler, and Ms. Stoddy, and myself, and Mr. Licky also attacked the athletic and extracurricular code, had some procedural updates. Really, it was an organizational thing where it just changed some of the wording that was kind of weaker to stronger wording, and some of the eligibility issues that we were having, where students were still failing some courses maybe, and then we're still eligible for competition. So we had to change some of that so that the focus was more on being academically eligible before they're athletically eligible, which we found to be pretty important. So that routine of getting eligible again was hammered out. And then this week we had training for July hours. So we had the teachers started working on syllabi for their classes. But we used the templates so that they're all kind of uniform. We worked on lesson mapping, which will tie into our district goal of curriculum planning there. So for curriculum mapping, so that'll be something that goes to once it'll feel kind of heavier this year, but after this year, I feel like everything will kind of just be adjustments of the work we've done this year, and that'll tie back into our lesson plan as well. And then we also did some vacuum training, which is just a platform for our required training that we do. I feel like I see so many videos on social media with the bloodborne pathogen training being this looming, daunting thing. I've never really thought of it that way. Although I have taken it, I can remember taking it every year, but it's like that thing is for bloodborne pathogen training. No one ever thinks of its feelings. It just wants to be murdered. But I feel like those things, it's those kinds of trainings that we do on Vector. It's pretty nice, and it's self-paced, and you can pause it on videos, so it's pretty good. And then I only had one training to do, so then there's a lot of other, you can learn there's carpentry classes on this thing, and so there's a bunch of random weird ones in there. So there's some people can learn some more stuff too. But we had a lot of teachers in attendance on that day, and went over the rest of the expectations for summer hours as well. So I think it all went pretty good. A lot of people got a lot of stuff done, and the deadlines are pretty reasonable. They're all due before school, but they still have a couple months to get things accomplished. So overall, pretty good.
Excellent. Any questions for Marcus? All right, thank you very much. You can see notes that Jada provided. She was unable to be with us tonight. You can read her updates there as well. Any additional questions before we move past administrative reports? All right, we are on to our board member reports and governance, starting with our committee reports. The policy committee met on the 8th. Anything you guys want? No.
We got we finished the final go through of everything once. Now, Neil already has, in the year it took us to get through all the policies for the first time, they already have an update ready to go, so we're done, but we're not done. Well, we never end, but we're still a little behind because we just got through everything once, but in that time we were going through everything, an update came through, so we'll get there, but it's all ready for tonight.
Okay, and I'm
Nick, go ahead, ask.
correct, the Neola, it's like a hired thing to put the vocabulary right, to follow like state and federal for the school district policies.
Yeah,
So instead of like someone writing it where it can get misconstrued, it's like you guys are going to do that, and does it get sent back to them?
so Neola, so that was kind of what Kyla was talking about with the updates. So Neola puts together the policies and they all are in line with current state law or federal law.
Federal and state law, and then they have a team of lawyers that review them.
Right,
Okay, so then so as we adopt those, then we can adjust a few things in them to make them fit our district, you know, so,
right.
but, then we make sure that we're always in.
But I'm saying, so then like
Yeah.
when you send it back, they're going over to make sure it's right and sending it.
Well, when we get it, we basically, in different sections, we get a couple options to
Right.
choose, and there's no legally incorrect option to choose.
They only
Because
give you
they
legal
only give you
options.
positive, good
Right,
things to
right,
choose.
right.
So we make our choices, then it goes back to them and their processing process as we approve it, and then then we get it put on our website. Right.
Okay,
And then their team of lawyers keeps watching what's happening with state and federal laws and say, hey, now the law changed, now your policy's got to be in compliance, and so that's when the
So
updates
then we'll have another meeting to go through what the changes have been, sent through the policy committee.
No, I
and then
was
back
just-
to the whole
yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
No, but actually it is really nice knowing that,
like
Being in
someone's
compliance,
double,
that-
yeah.
that because there's so many things that change so fast that, you know, we're all just here, you know, we're just trying to do their job. So it's like encouraging.
Yeah.
I would never keep up with all the policies if it wasn't for a company like Neil.
And part of why we chose Neola also, I mean, aside from it is an incredibly common tool used in Wisconsin. The vast majority of districts are starting to use this tool because policies have become so complicated, and
Right.
and it's just it's really
I
hard,
was trying
especially for a layperson to try and make
To
sure
distinguish that with the, it's like for the district, and then like the student handbook is different language, it seems like, so then that's written
So the
differently.
student handbook would be written off of our policy. So if we have a policy about something, then something in the student handbook would have to go along with whatever was in that policy.
Okay.
But not everything in the student handbook is a policy.
Right, and how it works is you have the laws, and a policy can't nothing can break a law. And then you have policies that have to comply with the law, and then our handbooks have to comply with policy.
Okay,
Does that make sense? That's the layers of it.
okay,
So you could take something like the grading scale. The grading scale is not a law or a policy per se, but we make a agreement on how we want that to work in our district, so.
but like the issue that was brought before us with like, dress code, I didn't see any law, like federal or, is that like a personal,
That would be all district,
That's-
right?
That
Like
is
how we
district,
wanna write our,
right, like if we wanted a whole uniform, we could.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify
No,
that.
Yeah,
it's
being
understanding,
like,
Yeah, and then
Okay,
there's
there's
also
federal-
policy, and there's procedure too, so.
Right.
So,
right, so, okay,
And no matter how much you write down, you can't write down for every single situation because something new will happen next week.
and that's kind of work, I mean, like
That's
even
how
the
it is.
student handbook, something to like, a student handbook will be approved, and then throughout the year, things may happen, and so the next year come back and people will say like, oh, we want to change some of these things up, or take the athletic code, for example, that's changed through the years too, based on some different circumstances, and so it's like, all right, let's make some adjustments to it to clean it up or make it a little bit more,
Clear language.
clear language, yes.
Next
Yeah.
month, you'll have the employee handbook, and I'm tweaking it from last year's, and then throughout the whole year, I just write notes in the columns, like, okay, wait, we're missing this, or we should add that, or this is a little better, or something, and it's always evolving, all those items.
Okay, I'm just trying
No,
to,
that's good.
No, those are good
ask. No ask.
Anything else about policy committee stuff? And we have an agenda item to approve the policy manual. We'll get to that after our board reports, but just the policy committee, we're good. All right. So we have some updates from the finance committee that met on July 9th. That's Emily and I. We met with Kyle and Libby, and then Libby and Kyle together with mostly Libby, I think, prepared a handout for everyone to just go over, sort of the updates. This is the year-end estimate for the 24-25.
And we'll have the auditors come in August, and then we'll end up getting a report from them in November, December. But year-end estimate, on the left, you'll see some unseen costs or over budget. HRA, that's our health payout for people who have claims, employees have in their spouses and dependents, and we're over in that area. A lot of people made claims, which is interesting because it's $28,374. With that much over what we had planned on budgeting, our insurance rates still only got a 4.9% increase, so they don't toggle together real smooth. They should go up or down together, but that's okay. It's what it is. We had one IT purchase. We had a backup system for $29,962, some back stages. We did the extra payment for the busing with Siren Bus Company for $39,500. Our open enrollment, we had more out than what we anticipated by $31,831, and then our food service transfer, that's Fund 50. We're expecting it to be about $23,000, and it's $51,085.75 larger than we thought. So we're transferring quite a bit from Fund 10 to Fund 50 because food service always has to be in the black at the end of the year. And we didn't receive, one of the reasons is in our revenue, we didn't receive as much aid support as we thought we would in that area. So, and then the last item for unforeseen costs, our special ed transfer, Fund 27 has to be in the black as well, and that was $14,193 larger than we thought it'd be. And then we had some items that came in under budget. We saved some money on the curriculum director's salary of $52,563. Our co-op sports agreements would end up being less than what we budgeted by $23,774. Our electric bill, and I don't know why because we don't have the solar yet, is $15,275 less this year than previous year. And then summer school salaries was down $17,190. I think it's because we capped class sizes and we're a little more efficient with like the weight room in the summertime and items like that. So the total savings there was $108,803, but with the total cost being $194,946, the estimated deficit for the year is $77,412. And if you think back to the referendum in April of 24, the referendum failed. We went to referendum in November. We asked for less in the first year. We asked for $500,000 and $875 for each of the next 3 years. And so with having less revenue than what the April proposed referendum was, we're short $77,000, which is about 1%. We are short-term borrowing until our July and August property tax payments come in. And then hopefully we'll see how the next year goes. It might be in the spring we might short-term borrow again. Depends on when those checks arrive or not, but that's where the deficit is right now for the 24-25 school year. Any other questions about it?
So when you and Libby look then ahead at what this means for how you want to handle the 25-26 budget, or for what we're looking at in the 25-26 budget, are there updates there that would help?
Well, she's gonna have to, I say she, because she's what sets the program, we're gonna have to plan on transferring more